Alright everybody, it's freaking Nick here. Today we're going to talk about 3 weird little things about Dead by Daylight's canon and how it kind of breaks down the lore the more you think of it. So some background information, in 2017 the developers had a stream where they talked a whole lot about lore, and it's a pretty cool stream, I'd recommend it, but one of the things they confirmed in that stream is that Dead by Daylight takes place in a multiverse, so it's just like the MCU, baby! And these 3 things we talk about today are things that kind of break that multiverse. So allow me to be the Doctor Strange to your America Chavez for the next 5 minutes as we traverse these weird little intricacies of DBD's multiverse. The first thing is pretty straightforward. Feng Min, she's a gamer. She went to video game conventions before she got yoinked by the entity, and at these conventions, she wore cosplay of the Resident Evil character Jill Valentine and of the Silent Hill character Cheryl Mason. So hold up a minute. If Resident Evil and Silent Hill are video game series in the main universe of Dead by Daylight, yet very IRL versions of Jill, Leon, Chris, Claire, Sheva, Carlos, Ada, Rebecca, Cheryl, James, and Wesker all exist in the entity's realm, what the hell happened? That means that there are actual entertainment franchises in Feng Min's world that are based on what actual people are going through in a parallel universe. The huge ball-busting implication of this is that there are people at Capcom and Konami are able to scry into another universe, they've seen all that's happened in that universe, and they've taken those horrible real experiences and copied them beat for beat in a frickin' video game. It's canon that the people in the main Earth of Dead by Daylight have access to supernatural powers, as evidenced by people like Michaela Reed and Hattie Cower, and Yui Kimura has also seen alternate universes. Either the guys at Capcom and Konami are innocent and just have powers and they think they're dreaming, or they have these powers and are blatantly profiting off of another universe's suffering. It's possible that they work for the entity as part of the Black Veil for some sort of purpose. Another thing I'd like to know is how the original Dead by Daylight survivors reacted when they saw these people and realized that they were actually real people that existed and not just video game characters. It's a bummer that there are no references to any of the TV shows or movies licensed in Dead by Daylight, because then that would open up a whole nother can of worms. But it does lead us into our next bit of lore that breaks the multiverse. In 2019, Dead by Daylight was treated with the license to the hit Netflix show Stranger Things. We got Steve, Nancy, and the Demogorgon. And then later we got Jonathan too, I guess. It was a great chapter, and honestly I think Demogorgon is one of the most well-designed killers in DBD. However, much like Feng Min's cosplays, this raises some eyebrows if you stop and think about it. You see, Stranger Things is known for 2 things. The first is the inevitability of Millie Bobby Brown stretching out her hand and screaming the enemies to death. And the second is for being a show basically about member berries. If you don't know what that reference is, it's a South Park joke about how media companies will often substitute quality content with nostalgia just to make you feel good rather than actually break any new ground. So Stranger Things is just stuff full of pop culture references that they just shove in your face. And it's like, hey, look at this 80s thing. Look at this 80s thing. Remember this 80s thing? Remember Freddy Krueger? So yeah, 2 that cause a fuss with DBD canon are that Jonathan has an Evil Dead poster on his wall, which is a movie directed by Sam Raimi and featuring Ash Williams, who's a survivor in DBD. And there's a reference to wearing Michael Myers masks in Season 4, which is an obvious reference to the Halloween series. With there being references to Evil Dead and Halloween, this implies that just like Capcom and Konami, Sam Raimi and John Carpenter are possibly part of the Black Veil too, as they also saw into parallel universes and profited off of the interdimensional suffering. It makes sense that they got supernatural help because Sam Raimi was 20 years old when he made Evil Dead, and that makes my 30-year-old ass feel really accomplished. Before we get to the last one, I just want to say thank you so much to Ornacia, Fake Milk, and Marsh. These 3 are my channel members. They are my homies, my pals. They get to see videos 24 hours early. They also are in a private Discord chat with me where I tell them what I'm planning on making. They kind of give me ideas. They kind of let me know which sounds more cool, and so they have a little bit of say in what I'm making and what order I do the things in. If that sounds like something that interests you, it's $2 a month. I'll post a link in the description, and yeah, we'd love to have you in our little group. The third and final thing is kind of related to the prior 2. It's a little cute and a little fun, and it's definitely a bit of a stretch, so let's not put on our glasses and go, well, actually, frickin' Nick. It relates to the Dwight Unknown cosmetic in Dead by Daylight, which you get by participating in the PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds collab with Dead by Daylight. The cosmetic description states it's a cosplay that Dwight made of a video game he enjoyed. So right here, there are two interesting implications of this. The first is that Dwight came from the future in the original Dead by Daylight timeline, because Dead by Daylight released in 2016, and that's when Dwight showed up in the game. Yet PUBG didn't release for another year in 2017. So the entity yoinked Dwight from a point ahead in time from where DBD officially launched. I know this doesn't really break the multiverse, it's just kind of cool. But the second thing is when it gets a little weird. So we know PUBG exists in the Dead by Daylight canon because Dwight played it. In 2022, PUBG did a collaboration with Dead by Daylight in which you could play like a janky version of DBD in PUBG. So if it's the same version of PUBG in the Dead by Daylight universe, would that mean that Dead by Daylight is a video game that's playable in the Dead by Daylight universe? Like, are there people in the reality of like Dwight and Fangman and David King who are playing Dead by Daylight and they're playing as these characters of people in their world that went missing and they don't know, or worse, they do know? And then to just get the rabbit hole even deeper, did this version of DBD collaborate with PUBG as well and cause somebody to think this exact same thing that I'm thinking right now? Do we live in DBD? This is just like some massive self-referential paradox, like if you divide by 0 or some shit. I'm sure there's a logical explanation, like the PUBG and Dwight's reality never did a DBD collab because DBD doesn't exist in that reality. But the monkey with symbols in my brain really likes the more complicated and Twilight Zone-y answer. Also, if that really complicated theory that probably isn't true is true, it would imply that Behavior are part of the Black Veil as well, because they are fostering a game that directly involves people that have been kidnapped by the entity.
I think we did a pretty good...
I think I'm going way too deep with this. So anyway, those are 3 things about Dead by Daylight cosmetic descriptions and license deals that kind of sort of make the multiverse a little bit more complicated than it should be. Once again, I know this is a stretch. It was just something I did for fun. But if there's anything else that you can think of that like really breaks down the canon of DBD, let me know in the comments below. Anyway, I really hope you're having a great day, and I will catch you on the next one.